Okay, so the new update was released for Super Auto Pets. The patches that were out on the test server have been released to the main game, and I'll just go ahead and quickly go over them. So the whale was buffed to 3-8 from a 2-6. They nerfed Swan to a 1-3. They changed T-Rex and Dragon so it no longer buffs itself. They nerfed Monkey so it's only +2/+3. They slightly buffed Peacock, but it doesn't really matter. They changed Dirty Rat a little bit, but it also doesn't matter because those units still suck. They nerfed Snail, so it's a +1/+1, and they buffed Duck to a 1-3. Now, what does this actually mean? So they nerfed a lot of the scaling units, and they buffed a lot of the summoning units. One thing that's actually not mentioned in here is they also buffed Fly. So that Fly now, when the wasted triggers go off, they don't waste a trigger. So you guarantee get 3 spawns out of the Fly, which is actually huge because if you used a summoning build with the Fly before, all of your space was already kind of filled up, so you never really got to spawn any flies. So if you're going like whale deer, like the bus would spawn instead of the fly and it would still count. But that's no longer the case. So now a fly fits really well into a summoning build. And because of all the scaling nerfs, it makes it even harder for the summoning to lose. Like it's harder for scaling to just outscale summoning builds so that they don't actually work. And as a result of this, summoning builds are now viable, not only in just like arena, but they might actually be viable in versus too, to just outright win. Because it's going to be so much harder to get 50/50s. Like dragon scaling was kind of the meta in versus, and now it's a pretty significant nerf that probably will mean you don't see a lot of dragons. It could maybe still work, I guess that's up for debate. But this is a quick arena run of just how, like, I don't know if it's a how to get to 10 wins. It's just an example of getting 10 wins with summoning builds. You don't need to go horses at the start. Horses are kind of overrated. The main thing about a summoning build is just getting a turkey. That's really all you need. The beginning rounds, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, so what is a good summoning build? There's a lot of different variations you can go for. You can go for whale deer. You can go tiger whale deer. You could just go turkey fly and then like some other stuff. You can go one up deer. You can go one up rooster. You can go like parrot turkey or just like parrot deer. There's just a lot of good combinations. And the thing is, most of the good summoning units are tier fours. So you got deer, whale, rooster, all tier fours, and tier five is turkey, and then tier six is tiger and fly. But oh, also parrot. I forgot to mention parrot's a tier four. So like these beginning rounds, the first I guess 6 rounds are just like normal gameplay before you actually get to the summoning things. So snails, I will also mention, no longer worth freezing like too often. If you really think you're gonna lose and you have the shop space for it, sure you can freeze snails. And if it's maybe like turns 5 and 6, but after that, I feel like unless if you have get 3 snails frozen in the shop, it's really not very helpful to actually freeze snails anymore. And I think this is a positive change. If you were doing 1v1s in like the tournament scene or like you knew about 1v1 meta, it was heavily favored to like whoever just gets more snails. Very just RNG dependent, and that's not a ton of fun. So really what you want is like I guess just more skill based game, right? And snails kind of ruin that. So happy with that change. However, like this change to nerfing scaling, I've mentioned this in the past, but they continue to just kind of nerf the things that are good and then like slightly change the things that are bad, but not change them enough to make them actually viable. And like if they keep going down this route, they're just going to keep nerfing the things that are fun in the game, right? And eventually people will probably not be too happy with how the meta ends up. And even right now, like the idea that summoning builds could be like the best possible option is kind of scary because like summoning builds are usually what beginners go for. And if you're making the game so that like the beginners are going to immediately do well, that seems a bit weird, a bit sketchy, I would say. Uh, I don't know, but like summoning builds can be fun. They're also just really annoying to lose to sometimes. Uh, and it's going to be very prevalent in arena. The side note of like all this nerfing to scaling and kind of buffing to summoning is that things that counter summoning are going to be really good, right? Like so hippo and rhino, maybe you'll see a lot more of those, and maybe those will kind of be in the meta and viable. Who really knows? It's too early to say at this point. This was just released today. Also, the servers were a little bit chuggy. Wasn't too big of a problem, but occasionally, like I would have to wait 5 or 10 seconds. I don't know if that happened in this video. It might have been just some other runs. But yeah, so I'm taking whale, I'm taking parrot, the good tier 4s, and then on turn 9, when you unlock tier 5s, then you pretty much just hard roll for turkey, or maybe buy like the things that you already have, like whale and parrot. Kind of depends, but pretty much everything on your team is going to be replaced. That's the big thing here. Got badger bead, I guess that's still pretty good. So if you stick around to the end, you'll see I included some bonus footage of a sloth run that I actually got. This is the first time I've seen a sloth in a long time in Arena, and I was trying to go for the level 3 ribbon achievement. And you can see the result, I guess. I won't spoil it. But I got a turkey on turn 9, which is pretty lucky. Occasionally, you can like hard roll for a turkey. I think your odds of seeing one, if you just roll 10 times, it's like I don't know, it's like 60 or 70% somewhere in that range. So I mean, it's pretty good odds, but it's like not guaranteed, obviously. So parrot croc there, it kind of destroyed my team, which means you'd figure I'd lose, but nope, it didn't even matter. I still won, even though they had parrot croc, which killed my best units pretty much. And so again, everything on my team is going to be replaceable. I decided to wait until I get level 2 turkey because the in-game in-shop buffs of +3/+3 or +6/6 are very helpful. It really prevents a lot of snipes, and like if you run into snake or like croc or dolphin, your units won't die to those anymore. And also just like, better base stats. That's always nice. Already I'm getting +9/+9 to these summons. And even though whale rooster isn't really optimal, I would say, you definitely want to go for whale deer, but I didn't happen to get that this run. So I just settled for that. And you can see the +6/+6, and we already have a 14/17 whale, which is pretty nice. And now I'm just looking for like anything to help with this summoning. Another whale. I decided not to go for level 3 whale. I'm really looking for tiger or fly at this point, or a deer. But I decided to settle for a crocodile because I figured this would help. It's at 18/12. That also has a decent ability. And it should be pretty interesting to see the counterplay to summoning builds. It does lose to a lot of sniping, so leopards, dolphin, croc, that kind of stuff, snake. But you can also just get 1-ups on everything. 1-ups on like summoning builds are just super nice because like you can 1-up a rooster, 1-up deer, a lot of good stuff from that, but it also prevents snipes. So 1-ups are very helpful. Chocolate's also really good, of course. I'm looking for the deer, and there it is. And now I got whale deer. It's a classic. So tiger, whale deer, it summons a lot of stuff, but fly, again, also will summon a lot of things. The 5/5 flies that will get +12/12 are going to be 17/17s, and that's 3 extra summons there. Here I actually go against another summoning build, but they have a snake, and their summoning build is actually slightly better. They had the level 3 whale, I guess, which is pretty surprising. So they did manage to beat my team. But I don't have the tiger or the fly yet. Although maybe it would still lose to a snake. A snake is a good fill here. Maybe I should think about taking one if I do happen to see it. I don't really go for a lot of level 3s here because I'm just focusing on trying to get that tiger or the fly, and there it is. Which kind of sucks because I just put stake on that rooster, but that's okay. It's still worth it. We get a 16/14 fly, so it's going to be pretty hard to snipe. Going to need a 28 attack leopard there. But like the leopard could also snipe the deer or the turkey or the parrot. Leopard in general is just a really good counter summoning builds. The thing is, like, it's going to be a little bit more tricky to actually scale a leopard because the monkey nerf. They nerf the attack, which is often the good part. Like with rooster, leopards, mosquitoes, whatever it is like that you're buffing at the front. Usually you want a decent amount of attack. I guess mosquito doesn't really matter. 1-up on the fly just in case it gets sniped, but also it's going to spawn that 1/1 that's going to get +12/+12, so it's just an extra summon too. And then melon armor just in case. Always good to have. And this is a pretty solid team. We don't even have level 2 fly. We don't have level 3 like rooster, or I mean parrot or turkey. Just a pretty standard summoning build team, but you can see just how broken it is. It's kind of unfair, and it's going to be really hard for scaling to keep up now. But there we go. There's a solid 10 win. Pretty standard stuff. Turkey fly is back to probably being really broken, which is, I don't know. We'll see how people feel about this. But let's go ahead and show the footage from the Sloth run. You can see my team is a turkey, not a turkey build, is what I meant to say. We went full scaling with the monkey and the penguin. But this is no longer like super good. And look, what did we run into? A summoning build, and it's actually just insane. Level 3 turkey, they have fly. It wasn't even close. Like the summoning build absolutely destroyed my scaling build team. And it wasn't even that bad. I mean, it did have a sloth which kind of ruined it, but yeah, it's pretty tough. Anyway, thanks for watching.